PatriotPlaza.com. Patriot, powered by Amity University.
In 1967, the Indian Army set up a counter-insurgency school near Shillong. In 1970, that school was shifted to Verangte in Mizoram. The first commandant of the school was Brigadier Matthew, under the instructions of the then Eastern Army commander, General Sam Manekshaw. He set up this wonderful facility here in the middle of the Mizo jungles. He also created what is perhaps one of the most difficult short runs of the Indian Army. This run is 3.2 kilometers long, and it is rightly called the Matthew Mad Mile. Viewers, I'm standing here and the troops are here and they're starting this Matthew Mad Mile race which I spoke about earlier. Now they say that this is amongst the most difficult short races of the Indian Army, and it puts so much of stress and strain on the mind and the body that very few people are able to complete it on time. And we're going to start this race here, the Matthew Mad Mile race.
Guys, are you ready?
Forty-nine, 52. These guys, they run like the wind. I mean, the Matthew Mad Mile race, it's undulating ground. You go up, you come down. It's inhuman. But these guys, you know, the first guy who entered was 11:35. I can't imagine anybody completing this in 11:35, 11 minutes, 35 seconds. The first guy runs in, the first soldier. Fantastic timings. They're still running. They're running like the wind. Viewers, this is the Matthew Mad Mile, perhaps the most difficult short race of the Indian Army. Viewers, I'm inside this hall and, you know, to tell you the truth, I've never been in such a situation in my life. Even when I was in the army, there are soldiers here. They're aiming at a video wall. And this is some sort of a simulator. I'm joined here by Major Atish Kumar from the Punjab Regiment. And he's the officer who trains all these soldiers in this. And I'm going to speak to him and find out, because this is going to be a new learning for me also. Major Atish, welcome to Patriot.
Thank you, sir.
So, what can you tell me, Major Atish? What is this? I don't know what this is.
So this is called the IWTS system, or the Infantry Weapons Training Simulator.
Okay.
This simulator effectively trains our soldiers. We can monitor, evaluate them on the system regarding their firing skills.
Okay.
This system comprises of 5 different portions. One, right in front of you is the screen. The second station here is the student station, wherein they can actually carry out their firing. The third part is the projector system. The fourth part is the instructor system. And the fifth part inside it itself is the power system.
All right.
Now, in case main power and all fails, that is used as a backup. Here we have a number of scenarios that we can depict. More specifically, we will be focusing here on the CICT scenario over here.
All right. The CICT scenario, so what is going to happen is that these soldiers, they're not using live ammunition. This is some sort of a electronically managed thing.
Absolutely.
So they'll press the trigger and a figure will appear on the screen. They will press the trigger and then you will have some sort of a scorecard, because I can see it's written on top, lane 5, terrorists killed, civilians killed, casualties and all that.
Absolutely.
So those figures are going to appear here.
Absolutely.
So can I also join in?
By all
Can
means.
I try my hand?
By all means.
Right? All right. Thank you very much. And thank you once again for joining us, Major.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. There are a total of 10 lanes here. I'm in lane number 6. My result is there. I fired a total of 20 rounds. I killed 2 terrorists, which is a bit of a shame, you know. This is not acceptable. Killed 2 terrorists, but the good part is that the initial reaction time is 4 seconds, which means that I've taken 4 seconds to identify and engage a terrorist. So a few good things and a few bad things here. Overall, fantastic experience, and I can understand how this is going to help soldiers and officers in real-time combat, because this provides a real-time scenario where you can actually aim and shoot. And I could hear the instructor at my back saying, don't engage with civilians, don't engage with civilians, you know. So happy to tell you that there are 0 civilian casualties. And everywhere that you see with all the soldiers, there are 0 civilian casualties. Nobody has killed or injured any civilians. All terrorists dead. Viewers, this here is the newest toy of the Indian Army. This is called Brugger & Thomet MP9, Machine Pistol 9. And this is a Swiss-made weapon, a 9mm weapon, has 2 magazines, 30 round and 15 round magazine. This is a silencer here in front. This is a collimator sight, which essentially is that you see a red dot. If you see, there is a small red dot here, in which if I aim, I can use this. This is a torch. You can use this torch, and you can also use the laser pointer and the torch. So it's a fantastic weapon. Feels quite nice. This is the charging handle here. Beautiful. This is like the M4 or the M16. They also have charging handles at the rear. This is the magazine here. So typically what you will do is, put it around your neck like this, right? And the weapon is here. So whenever you're going, you need to engage the enemy. It comes up like this. It's directly from here. Comes up like this. You engage the enemy. And I have not used this weapon. I have not fired it yet, but people say that it's extremely stable, fantastic weapon, and it has Picatinny rails here, so you can put all the gadgets that you want, right? And this here is a collapsible butt, so if you want to, make it smaller and use it almost like a machine pistol. This is almost, yes, like a machine pistol. So you can use it like this also. And whenever you want, you can take it out. And for better stability, better aim, hold it like this. These are vertical grips here. And this is how the weapon is used. This is the safety. This is the automatic firing mode here. The red denotes safety and the white denotes the automatic firing mode. And if the magazine is empty and you want to fire the weapon, then you take out the magazine and then, this is how it is. The army had been waiting for a good weapon for a very long time now. This weapon has been issued to the army, and over a period of time, the numbers will increase. Currently, I'm told that the Ghatak platoons are using it. The commandos of the infantry battalion are using this weapon. Excellent for room intervention. At 100 meters, I can't say that this has a long range or can engage the enemy at longer ranges. But yes, for room intervention, or for fighting in built-up areas, FIBUA as we know it in the army, at short ranges, you can very effectively engage the enemy. Viewers, you just saw the training at the IWT as the Infantry Weapon Training Simulator, which was done to train soldiers and officers on how to fire accurately and, actually how to engage the enemy, given the short time frame. Now, you have also seen here how a soldier can fire from 3 positions: the standing position, the kneeling position, and the lying position, using both his shoulders. You've seen a fantastic demonstration of ambidextrous firing. And I'm going to introduce you to the Ustad who has done it and who is the person responsible for this fantastic demonstration. आपने हमें एम्बीडेक्स्ट्रस फायरिंग दिखाई, आपने हमें पहले स्टैंडिंग, फिर नीलिंग और उसके बाद लेट के फायर दिखाया। ये जो आप दोनों कंधों से फायर करते हैं, इसकी क्या अहमियत है?
देखिए सर, ऐसा है कि बिल्डअप एरिया में टेररिस्ट के पास काफ़ी छुपाव होता है।
बिल्कुल।
और उसे हमें न्यूट्रलाइज करने के लिए कुछ 1 सेकंड का ही एक्सपोजर मिलता है।
बिल्कुल।
तो इस फायरिंग टेक्निक का ये मकसद है कि हम एक फायरर को इस काबिल बनाएं ताकि वो उन्हीं चंद सेकंड के अंदर टेररिस्ट को एम ले और उसे मार गिराए।
एक बात बताइए उस्ताद, आपने तो एक्यूरेटली अपने सारे टारगेट हिट करे, लेकिन ये कितना मुश्किल है? कितने साल लगे आपको इस महारत तक पहुंचने के लिए? कितने साल लगे?
देखिए ये मुश्किल तो है, पर प्रैक्टिस जो है वो इसको हम यहाँ पे जो लीको कोर्स चलता है उसमें 2 मंथ का कोर्स होता है, जिसमें हम उनको रिफ्लेक्स फायरिंग और साथ साथ और अलग प्रकार की फायरिंग उनको सिखाते हैं, जिसमें हम स्टूडेंट्स को तैयार करते हैं कि वो इस काबिल हो जाएं ताकि ऐसी कहीं मौका होता है तो वो दोनों शोल्डर्स का इस्तेमाल करके टाइमिंग के साथ फायर करें और टेररिस्ट को किल करें।
अच्छा उस्ताद, मेरा आखिरी सवाल आपसे ये है कि कोई नया स्टूडेंट आता है, कोई लोग तो ऐसे भी आते होंगे जो फायरिंग में इतने अच्छे नहीं हैं शुरू में, और आप इनको एक हाई लेवल की फायरिंग सिखा रहे हैं, तो शुरू में तो दिक्कत होगी, जो सीधे कंधे से ही फायर नहीं कर पा रहा अगर ठीक से, तो दोनों कंधों से फायर करना तो मुश्किल होगा। तो क्या कोई खास आप ट्रेनिंग टूल्स इस्तेमाल करते हैं, कोई खास मोटिवेशन देते हैं या कोई खास उनको ट्रेनिंग देते हैं कि जिससे वो ठीक से फायरिंग कर पाएँ दोनों कंधों से?
उसके लिए सर हमें मोटिवेशन तो उनके लिए तो इम्पॉर्टेंट है, और साथ ही साथ उनको यहाँ पर एक हम इंडोर रेंज जो IWTS है, जिसमें उनको हम लेफ्ट आई और राइट आई का कॉम्बिनेशन उनको सेट कराते हैं।
बिल्कुल।
और लेफ्ट शोल्डर और राइट शोल्डर का वहाँ पे वो फायर करते हैं। उसके बाद यहाँ पे उनको ऑन ग्राउंड लाइव फायर कराया जाता है ताकि वो उस मकसद में कामयाब हों।
अच्छा, तो उस्ताद आप ये कह रहे हैं कि हमारे पास ऐसे पूरे ट्रेनिंग टूल हैं मौजूद यहाँ पे
जी हाँ।
कि जिससे हम लेफ्ट शोल्डर और राइट शोल्डर से फायर करके और एक फायरर को दोनों कंधों से फायर करने का महारत
हासिल
सिखा सकें, उसको हासिल हो सके उसको। ठीक है, पेट्रियट में शामिल होने का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपको उस्ताद, थैंक यू। You know, I was just speaking to the instructor here, and he says that there is constant and consistent use of training tools here, whether they are virtual reality or whether there are video games or other factors, where people are finally taught and then they're brought on the range and they fire hundreds of rounds of ammunition and they are taught how to fire from both the shoulders. This is very important because if you're a person, if you're a right-handed person, you know, you will automatically try to fire from this shoulder. But suddenly if I ask you to fire like this, you might not be able to aim properly. And during anti-terror operations, you never know in which condition or which position you'll have to fire, which is why this is so important. Viewers, you've just seen firing here, and this is called the Queen's Fire. What is the Queen's Fire? I have here with me a captain who's the instructor. For security reasons, we cannot show you his face. He's from the Indian Army Special Forces, and he's going to tell us why this firing is important and why it's done. Welcome to the Patriot Show, Captain.
Thank you.
So tell us, what is this about? What is this Queen's Fire, and why is it important?
See, I'll firstly tell you a brief background.
Yes.
So, as far as counter-terrorist operations are concerned, especially the ones in which our army is involved in Northeast, in the valley, along the LC.
Yes.
The basic principle is that you shoot first and you shoot straight.
Okay.
So the person who is able to achieve this objective, will come out on tops. Now, as far as this particular firing is concerned, the primary focus is that you improve the hand-eye coordination, or what somebody might call neuromotor reflexes of a firer.
Okay.
So our aim is to achieve a standard wherein, as and when a terrorist appears in real life, a person should be able to engage him as quickly as possible.
So, which is why you are the instructor showing a single color.
Yes.
And within that few seconds, you are supposed to identify the
Yes.
color and shoot the parallel color there at the
Yes.
target.
So the basic thing is that you're able to see a terrorist first, you're
Okay.
able to positively identify that the person is a threat,
Okay.
and then you're able to take aim and fire.
So
That
you're-
too within a very quick time frame.
Yeah. So, you identify friend or foe,
Yes,
engage.
that's a very important aspect.
Yeah, that is that is the difference between life and death
Life and death, yes.
in operations. So, tell me, Captain, from your personal you must have done operations in the valley also.
Yes.
Can you give a parallel example of why it was very important and such a skill is very important in the valley as per you?
See, in real life situations and terrorist operations, what happens is that a terrorist presents himself for a very short period of time. You get an exposure of maximum 2 to 3 seconds.
Okay.
So it is very important that within that matter of few seconds, you're able to take aim and neutralize the terrorist.
All right.
So that whole thing of OODA cycle, observe, orient, decide and act. So although it's a strategic level thing, but in this micro level, it is being implemented in a similar manner.
All right. So do the soldiers coming here, do the officers coming here have a problem with this? And if they have a problem, how do you deal with it?
See, initially, generally what in our army, it's a conventional army. So as far as our firing practices are concerned, they're more oriented towards conventional, which is very different from CICT situations.
Okay.
So basically, initially when the officers come, they're not used to this kind of firing, but they're given adequate practice, and over a period of time, they're able to achieve the standards which are desired out of them.
All right. thank you very much for speaking to us, Captain. And it was a pleasure seeing you on Patriot. Viewers, as the Captain told us just now that this is very important from a counterinsurgency to counter-terror operations. This is very important. You see a target first, you engage the target first. If there is a moment's delay, there could be death. So if you want to neutralize the terrorist in front of you, the first thing is you have to, first of all, identify him first, because there might be civilians around. You identify the terrorist and then you shoot. And that is why the terrorist almost always has the advantage, because he doesn't care if he kills civilians or not. But the army cares, and army has to take great care. So we require much more training than any other person, which is why you saw this demonstration, this fantastic demonstration of a color code being held up only for a few seconds and then the soldiers engaging a target effectively.
PolicyBazaar.com, Patriot, powered by Amity University.
IEDs, improvised explosive devices, are the new reality of war. In India, in Kashmir, the Northeast, or the Red Corridor, IEDs are the new weapons that the terrorists or militants use to target security forces. All over the world, they are seen as a new weapon of destruction. Today, here we have an officer of the Indian Army who's briefing his troops who are about to embark on an ROP. An ROP is a road opening party. They will go through the road in front. They will check for any IEDs and make sure that the road is safe for soldiers to walk through.
आरओपी पार्टी रेडी है? आज हमारे पास एक इम्पोर्टेंट टास्क है आरओपी का। आपको खबर मिल गया होगा, हमारा कॉन्वॉय आज लैलापुर से आइजवाल तक जा रहा है। तो ये स्ट्रेच हमारे को आरओपी की करके आईडीज ढूंढना है और वहाँ से आईडीज को क्लियर करना है। इसके अलावा कोई और थ्रेट होता है तो वो भी हमारे को देख के वहाँ से क्लियर करना है। आप आरओपी का ड्रिल सीखे हुए तरीके से करेंगे। कोई भी शकिया जगह मिलती है उसको सर्च किया जाएगा।
Viewers, you've just seen an excellent demonstration of how a road opening party goes, how an improvised explosive device is detected, placed somewhere where it can actually harm people or harm the security forces, how it has been detected in time, how it has been blasted or, taken care of in a way that it cannot harm anybody any longer. I again have the captain with me who was leading his men and who was actually training them on how to do it. And I will speak with him now and find out, what exactly is the threat of IED and how all this is done sequentially. Captain, welcome to Patriot.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Okay, tell me something. How, you did a ROP, a road opening party drill. How much of a threat is an IED?
As you are aware, terrorists or insurgents in present scenario.
Yes.
This is IED is the biggest weapon. They have been using it. If we talk of India, we have faced this IED threats in Northeast as well as in Jammu and Kashmir.
Yes.
Apart from this, this is a very eminent threat if we consider or if we talk of the areas of Naxal affected areas where left-wing extremism is a common threat these days.
Yes,
So
definitely.
IEDs are employed in all these areas to a large extent, and being the most easiest way with the terrorists, this is the most potent weapon which they employ against us.
It's also because explosives are easy to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
Easy to make. Once you have the know-how, an IED is fairly easy to make. And, it can be deployed without any repercussion. I mean, nobody dies in an IED except the enemy.
Yeah, that is why it is the easiest thing for the terrorists to do.
Yeah.
The cost factor is very less, plus the material of which it is made is easily available in the market also.
Yes. So tell me, Captain, when you teach this to the people, the officers and the men who come here, when you teach them about IEDs, do you also teach them with the help of live examples? Because there are so many live examples in India, especially in the Red Corridor. So do you give them live examples? Ki is san mein ye hua tha, and in 2015 there was an IED, and this is the kind of an IED, whether it was a pressure cooker or whether it was a cycle or a motorcycle or tiffin box, something like that. Do you do that also?
Absolutely. Actually, as I've already told you previously, this IED we teach them as a capsule. It is a three-phase exercise basically.
Okay.
Firstly, we conduct classroom lectures and tutorial discussions for the students.
All right.
Thereafter, we bring the students to an IED hall. We have an hall in which various models of IEDs are placed. There we tell them about the mechanisms, how an IED works by the help of working models. Apart from this, we have one more corner, which is the model IED corner in that hall itself,
Okay.
in which we try to showcase to the students how the IEDs can be placed in items of day-to-day use. After this is done, we bring the students to an IED trail where we practice here. We have 20 points where we keep the IEDs hidden.
Oh, this is the IED
This
trail.
is the IED trail which you've just seen.
Okay.
So we have 20 points which are hidden here. We take the students to the practical exercises which we conduct on ground. For example, we have exercises of road opening, we have exercises of convoy protection, MCP, CASO, and rest of the things.
Okay.
In these exercises, live IEDs are put in the similar fashion in which we have witnessed them in the CI areas in Jammu and Kashmir, Naxal areas,
Okay.
as well as in Northeast.
So there is a lot of live experience which is coming into the teaching.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It is not only textbook. It is a real life experience.
Textbook is just 25% of the teaching which we do here in
Okay.
CIJW school.
All right.
Rest 75% is all practical on ground.
So this is a live course. It's not a dead course. It's a live course. There is feedback constantly coming, and you are seeking feedback. People are giving feedback, and if you think that something can be improved, maybe, then you go ahead and modify and improve it. It keeps on evolving, right?
Absolutely, it's not just a course basically.
Yes.
This school is not about a course. It is a center of excellence as far as the counter-insurgency and counter-terrorist operations are concerned. So we have also to evolve every day.
Thank you very much for talking to me, Captain, and thank you for being on Patriot.
Thank you, sir.
Viewers, I was speaking to Captain here, and he says one very important point. It's not just the Indian Army. It's not just our central police organizations, the central armed police forces, the CAPFs as we call them, the BSF, the CRPFs, and other forces, but also the paramilitary forces like the Assam Rifles, also foreign armies, specifically the Afghan army, which has large contingents which come over here and which train. And Afghanistan is facing a sort of a war on terror of sorts with the Taliban there, and that is what keeps them, on their toes, and it comes in handy because all the knowledge that they get about fighting with IEDs, fighting against IEDs, how to protect themselves from IEDs, that knowledge is learnt from CIJW Verangton. It is instructors like the young captain here who teach them how to do it, and then they go and they are successful, and when they are successful they call back or they write back saying that we have really gained by coming to CIJW Verangton.
PolicyBazaar.com, Patriot, powered by Amity University.